everyone. Today I'm going to read you a book all about positive mental health. We think this is really important at William Lilly, and so I've put together a playlist of videos for you to look at on YouTube under our playlist under Growth Mindset. Have a look for yourself. But in the meantime, I'm going to read you this book that gives lots of strategies to help with positive mental health. So let's have a look. What's going on inside my head? Written by Molly Potter, illustrated by Sarah Jennings. What's going on inside my head? Starting conversations with your child about positive mental health. How should I think about myself? Feeling good about ourselves and having positive thoughts are not always easy things to do. Sometimes we think too much about what we're not good at, or we compare ourselves to others and decide we're rubbish. This is never a helpful thing to do. Everyone is different, and we all have things that we're good at and things we're not so good at. We feel better about ourselves if we celebrate successes, but also accept that we can't be brilliant at everything. Nobody can, and this is absolutely fine. Accepting yourself as you are, knowing what you're good at and not knowing what you're not so good at is a way of being kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, it's important that you forgive yourself and hopefully learn from it so that you don't make the same mistake again. Forgiving yourself helps you to keep a healthy mind. Top tip. Just because you aren't naturally brilliant at something doesn't mean you should stop trying to get better at it. If you really want to, you can get better at anything with lots of practice. It takes bravery to stick to something that you don't find easy. How does looking after my body help my mind? Our body carries our brain around, protects it and makes sure it has what it needs to work properly. If our body is working well, our brain is more likely to be working well too. If we do the things that we know keep our body fit and healthy, then our brain and mind are more likely to be healthy too. It's good to know sometimes when we feel a bit sad or low, exercise can make us feel much better, especially if it's outdoors, in a park, in a wood or in a countryside where there are trees and grass. For a healthy mind and body, we need to make sure we have enough sleep, drink plenty of water, eat plenty of fruit and vegetables, spend some time outside, do some exercise at least half an hour a day, and take time to relax. What is happiness? People often say that it's important to be happy. However, if you ask lots of different people what they think happiness is, they'll probably give you lots of different answers. People talk about two kinds of happiness. The first is when they feel happy because something nice has just happened. This kind of happiness doesn't last for long, and nobody could expect to feel like this sort of happiness all the time. The second kind of happiness is when people feel good about most of the things in their lives, like their families, their friends, their homes, their hobbies, and their schools or jobs. This type of happiness is something people can work at, and it can last longer. When we feel this kind of happiness, our minds tend to be healthy. Things that make people happy with their lives. Finding things you really love doing, like drawing, making things or reading. Spending time with your family, chatting, laughing or getting cuddles. Having fun with friends and pets and being kind to them. Playing sports or being outside, enjoying the fresh air. What do I do with emotions? When anything happens to us, we feel something inside. This feeling is called an emotion. It might be a strong emotion or it might be weak, almost so that we don't notice it. It might be an enjoyable feeling or an unenjoyable one. Emotions are all part of being a human and you can't avoid them. In fact, trying to ignore them is not a good idea. Getting good at dealing with feelings helps to keep our minds healthy. Here's some feelings: scared, happy, annoyed, confused and shocked. Sometimes when we feel negative emotions, we behave in ways that upset or hurt ourselves or other people. We can't do anything about the way we feel, but we can decide how to behave, whatever the emotion is we're feeling. Getting good at dealing with feelings helps to keep our minds healthy. Here are some questions you can ask yourself. How am I feeling right now? To help you start recognise your feelings. What might make me feel this way? To help you understand what causes different emotions. And what is the best thing I could do to help me deal with how I'm feeling? Think of things you could do that will help you feel better. There are some ideas on the next page. It's good to know that being a human means you will have both positive and negative feelings. Sometimes you will go around with a big smile on your face, and other times you might cry and feel sad. Different feelings come and go, and this is normal. Nobody can expect to feel positive all the time. When something upsetting happens, what will help me? Upsetting things happen to everyone now and again, like a pet dying or your parents arguing. When this happens, we can feel uncomfortable feelings like anger, sadness or fear. We can't stop these feelings, but there are things we can do to deal with them. These are called coping plans. Sometimes when we feel uncomfortable feelings, what we feel like doing at the time doesn't really help or can even make things worse. For example, if someone was angry, they might go and play a computer game to try and forget, but then realise they still feel upset when they stop playing, or they might be really rude to someone they love. For a coping plan that works well, you could talk to somebody about how you feel, ask for a hug and have a cry, take time to sit quietly and wonder if there is anything good about what happened. Think about anything you might have learned because of what happened. Think about a time in the future when this thing won't bother you as much. Go for a walk or punch a pillow to get rid of any built-up energy. Take time to meditate, and there's a bit more on page 20. Remember to think about all the things you love. What can I do when thoughts bother me? Most of the times when our minds ruminate, that's a long word, means thinking or worrying about something and not being able to stop thinking about it. It's one of the drawbacks of having a brain. It usually happens when you believe you can't cope with something, but the chances are you totally can. When you ruminate, it's important firstly to recognise that a thought is doing this. Once you realise this, then it's time to put a plan in place to try and stop it bothering you so much. You could think about a time when you coped with something similar. Remember that you can probably cope with what's bothering you this time too. Find someone to talk to about your troubling thoughts and work out together what could be done. Imagine taking the annoying thought out of your head and putting it in a bucket. Put the bucket in the corner of the room and put a lid on it. Now, every now and then, tell it to be quiet. Use the space in your brain with a calming thought. Close your eyes and imagine a circle with a drawn dot near the edge. The circle spins slowly so that the dot goes up when you breathe in and down when you breathe out. Something that you can do to prevent rumination so that it bothers you less is to practice really focusing on the moment you're in. You tune into right now. You can think about what you see, hear, smell and feel, one sense at a time. What can I do when somebody upsets me? People can upset other people, both children and grown-ups. Sometimes they mean to and other times they don't. When it happens, we could decide to just go away and be upset. However, this is not usually the best way of dealing with it and can mean our minds keep thinking about what happened, which is not healthy. It's better to explain what happened made you feel to the other person who upset you. You usually feel better when you've done this. If you're lucky, you might get an apology. Another good thing to do is to get good at forgiving people. To do that, you have to think about what happened in a different way. Perhaps the person who upset you is jealous, or maybe they are really unhappy about something that you don't know about. When you forgive someone, it's a true sign that what they did no longer bothers you. It's important to know if somebody keeps on picking you on purpose and you feel like you can't sort it out yourself. This is called bullying. When this happens, you need to keep telling adults about it until you get the help to make it stop. What is meditation? Sometimes our minds can be mischievous because they make us think too much. This is overwhelming and can make us worry about the future, which is silly because you don't know what's actually going to happen in the future. It can also make us feel bad about things we did in the past, which is also a bit silly because we can't do anything much about the past either. Meditation can help quieten down our minds and help us let go of the past, stop worrying too much about the future and only notice the now. This can make us feel calm and peaceful, which is really good for our minds. There are lots of different ways of meditating. The more you practice, the better you will get. Here's some different forms of meditation you can try. Sit comfortably in a quiet place and close your eyes. Think of a sound or word that is calming, like Om, and use it in your head softly, saying it over and over again. If your mind wanders to other thoughts again, gently go back to repeating the word over and over again in your head. Or start at 10 and count down to 0 and take it and eat. With each deep breath you take, after 0, just think in and out in time with your thinking. Imagine you're in a really wonderful place. It can be a place you know or one made up. Imagine what you can see, hear, feel and smell. Enjoy that space. How do I ask for help when I need it? Help is a good thing. When we're struggling, asking for help and getting it is a really smart thing to do. It's also true that we're more likely to get help from some people than others, so it's a good plan to think about who these helpful people are before you need to ask them. These people can be your support network. The best thing is to have a mixture of children and adults in your support network. A friend at school might be good at cheering you up if you're upset, but if you're being bullied, you'd need to ask an adult's help. Make a list of the people in your support network. You can have as many people as you like. This helps remind you there's always people there to help. The more people you have, the easier it will be to find help when you need it. Think about who you'd ask for help if you were trying to do something and finding it really difficult. Someone was picking on you. You saw something on TV that upset you. You feel lonely at playtime. You're finding it difficult to go to sleep at night. You're really worried about something you're going to do the next day. It's important to know when you need help, the first person you ask doesn't really help, then keep asking people until you get the help you need. How do friends and family help keep my mind healthy? Humans like to be with other humans. We're made to have relationships with each other and mostly feel happier when we spend time doing things with friends and family. Friends and family are important for keeping our minds healthy. Even though they're really important, relationships are not always easy, and it's usual for friends and families to upset each other from time to time. To help you remember how important friends and family are, think of a time when a member of your family helped you. Someone in your family took you somewhere nice, or a time when a friend said something nice about you, or you spent time with a family member or friend doing something nice. A friend looked really pleased to see you. A friend stood up for you. It's important to know we are unlikely to make friends with everyone we meet, and this is fine. We're allowed to like some people more than others. Everyone does. Fortunately, everyone finds the friends that's right for them. How can I be a better friend? Good friends and family relations help to support us and make us feel looked after. Getting good at relationships sometimes needs a bit of practice. Think about when you arrive somewhere. How do you think the other people there feel? It's normal for some people to like you more than others, but do you ever wonder about the effect of your words and behaviour have on other people? You can probably think of people who are always happy to see you and others you're less happy to see. Can you think why this might be? We cannot change who we are, but we can think about how we behave. There are always some behaviours that nearly always make other people feel good and others that make them feel unhappy. When we make other people feel great, they are far more likely to be kind to us and want to be our friend, which makes us feel good. Have a look at these behaviours. Which do you like? Which don't you like? And which do you really not mind? Giving real compliments, telling lies, listening, letting others join in, helping others when you're upset, boasting, sharing your things with others, laughing and teasing others, showing an interest, being bossy, smiling and moaning loads. How can I improve my thinking habits? Here are some things to try. Try to be optimistic. Try to think positively. Try to be kind. And don't expect to get things right all of the time. Forgive yourselves when you make mistakes. After all, we all make mistakes. I hope you enjoyed that book.